markets, how are they looking?
Well, we're coming to the end of the first 6 months of the season, and we've got 2 more auctions. We've got a North Island auction this week, and then a double to finish the season on the finish this part of the season on the 17th. The market in New Zealand sense here has held up very well, actually, and a lot of that has been on the back of reduced supplies, especially in the South Island, and you can't help but think that relates back to, especially in the Canterbury area, a lot of the capital stock that went out or was killed because of the drought conditions.
And continue to do so.
Yeah, and so it's making it a bit difficult to forecast volumes, just what's going to come on when. But what we do know, there'll be a lot of wool on the market in the second 6 months, so starting January. So the supply patterns have certainly changed in the South Island. In the north, not so much pronounced, but it makes for interesting times.
Which is a nice way of saying it's hell out there at the moment.
So the international marketplace, a bit quiet at the moment, but we'd suspect that there'll be renewed interest into the new year. There'll be a pickup in activity, which should help the market levels.
The dollar's helping a wee bit because it's sort of mid-60s instead of mid-80s.
Well, it has helped a lot. The currency has helped a lot. As you said, it peaked at 88 and now it's around 60, 66 and a half as we speak. So a lot of that gain has gone back to the farmer, and we'd like to think that it stays around these levels, and may even retrace a bit, and that's all good news for the NZ cent price for the grower. So there's a few interesting things coming up talking about currency. You've got the Reserve Bank decision this week. Will he cut or not? And then you have the US decision on their interest rates on the 17th of December, and that could have ramifications for our currency as well. So as usual, it's,
it's walking on eggshells for you guys.
You've got to bear these things in mind.
Because you're sort of basically working the futures in a very strange way.
Well, you're always selling wool forward, and you've got positions to, obviously you're taking positions all the time, so it's what you're really talking about is your net position, whether you're long or short or whatever. And of course, if you're looking at a dollar that could decline something like 4 or 5%, obviously you don't want to be too short of the commodity because it will have some impact on the NZ cent price. So you've always got these things to consider as far as the future goes. But
dry year, what's the yield like?
Yields have come down, reflecting that, which is often happens. The fleece doesn't get washed out as much, so there's more dust, if you like, and vegetable matter that stays in the fleece. But the wool coming on next year will be, the colour won't be so good. That's a seasonal thing, but we've been pretty happy with the wool quality to date. The yield is a factor, especially if you're scouring the wool, but the quality has been good to date.
Because the other thing that I remember is we suddenly get a dry patch and you get breaks in the wool because the sheep suffer.
Well, the first thing that is affected when an animal's stressed is the fibre, and you're right, is that break. And so it's interesting, you can tell very, very quickly just how well an animal's, nutrition, how well the animal's doing just by looking at the staple. And so obviously we'd prefer that
there's no stress.
But
So to briefly looking forward, its presentation is going to be the key.
But we're heading into that time where animals have been subject to more weather factors, and generally speaking, the colour won't be as good. That's a seasonal factor. Happens all the time, especially from down south, in Southland and around. So there's a lot of wool to come on the market. So the market will be tested probably through January and February, just supply driven. So our job's to get out there and get as much of it sold as we can, and to keep things moving and keep the values right if we can.
John, thank you very much, and a Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you.
We're counting down towards our special on the land. It's all about mental health and knowing what the symptoms are and knowing how to get around them. But in just a moment, we're going to be talking to John O'Malley.